Welcome to the Spurs Up Show presented by Armchair All-Americans. Back for another episode. Big guest on today, Ryan Hilinski. Be sure to go online and rate, subscribe, and share and download the Spurs Up Show on iTunes, the Stitcher app, wherever you consume your media. Remember, if you aren't following us on Twitter yet, it's at Armchair Escar, Instagram at Armchair Escar, and, check us out at armchairallamericans.com. We have here today Ryan Hilinski, in my opinion, best quarterback in the 2019 class, I'm pretty sure.
Yes,
anyway,
sir.
Ryan, how you doing? How's California life treating you?
I'm doing great, man. I can't complain about this California weather. I mean, there's nothing like it for sure, but I'm doing great. I can't complain.
All right. Well, we're gonna get started here. Ryan, you're currently at 44th in the 24/7 Sports Composite, second pro ranked quarterback. You feel like that's a fair rank? Where do you feel like you really think you should be at in the country? Just give us your thoughts there.
Yeah, I mean, nationally ranked about a year ago. I was talking to my high school coach today, and nationally ranked about a year ago, I was just sitting out of the 300. I wasn't even ranked on the composite. I was sitting out of 300 on 24/7, and I was probably like 500 on Scout back then. And I honestly, I could give a crap about rankings. I mean, of course, I want to be, one of the top guys, but I know where I stand. I know where all this hard work's gotten me. My parents know, my high school players know, and as long as I keep out competing the guys that are ranked above me or below me at these camps like I've been doing, I know where I stand, and I don't need anybody's opinion about me. I know how good I'm working, and so does good old Coach Champ. He knows what's going on too. So it's a blessing to get those rankings for sure, and get my hard work and dedication, realized on a national level. But I want to keep grinding for that number one spot. And just keep proving myself like I've been doing.
And see, that's what I love to hear is that you're not satisfied with just being like 44th or second. You want to be the best, man. And it doesn't matter where you're at. And that makes me a proud Gamecock fan. And obviously, covering the team, makes me glad to see that where the direction the program's going. And something I also want to talk about, I guess you really don't know this considering you probably didn't really hear about South Carolina until probably last year. I would assume so when it comes to being recruited by them. I don't really know that much, but I would just think that, with us being 3-9 2 years ago in the previous 9-4 season, which is something that's only happened 8 times in school history. And what do you think that you could take the program as far as potential wise with you being the quarterback at the University of South Carolina?
I think if I'm not coming to South Carolina to lose ball games, I'm coming there to win ball games. And that's why Coach Muschamp and Coach Warner recruited me. And I think that's the biggest thing is I want to go there and I don't want to lose a game while I'm there. I mean, that's everybody's dream. But I'm not satisfied with losing games. I mean, we lost the game early in my high school season last year to a team that was way better than us. And we all knew that, but I was pissed after the game. I mean, I want to win every game that I go against. I don't care who you are, if you're Bama or if you're Georgia. I'm going to go out there. I'm going to try and throw for 300 yards. I'm going to try and throw for 4 to 5 touchdowns a game because that's just my mindset. And I think we have the players. I think we have the recruiting class. I think we have the coaches. I think we have the best fans in the country to do that. And whenever we're playing home, it's going to be a rough day for you. And whenever we travel, I mean, we're going to bring people with us and we don't be intimidated. So I'm not even there yet, but when I get there, I mean, I'm looking at winning an SEC championship. I want to win a national championship. I can't be satisfied, with going to a bowl and saying we won 9 games. And I mean, that's a great season, of course, but you want to be the best you can be in the country because really you're just sitting at the bottom, not at the bottom, but you're just sitting at the satisfactory level. You're just going in seasons and doing all this stuff. And the fans are hungry for championships. And that's what I want to do. And I know Coach Champ is definitely hungry for a championship for sure, too. And I know the players are, too. And I've talked to a couple. They've got the same mindset as me. So it's going to be a fun, special years coming up. I'm really excited about it.
I mean, I personally can't wait to see you on the field. But for this upcoming season, you're going to be at Orange Lutheran, right? That's your high school?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the right one.
You guys play in, I think, one of the toughest conferences at least California, if not the country, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You go up against a guy like Chris Steele once a year. That's pretty tough. I would think so. I would hate to see him ever across the field. But anyway, he committed to the fake USC, which kind of sucks for us. But, it's where he wants to go to school, so it's his right decision. But
yeah, they can go there and do whatever they want.
Yeah. So just talk about your upcoming season at Orange Lutheran. Your goals, obviously, would be a state championship. But where do you see yourself? How do you see the year playing out?
Yeah, I mean, we're ranked probably one of the best offenses in the country, and that's not just blowing smoke. I mean, we have an outside receiver, Kyle Ford,
Yeah.
who's a 5-star receiver, and he'll go and make any catch you want for him. We've got 2 tight ends that are one's going to the fake USC, one's going to Cal. And then we got another slot receiver, Logan Loy, who's class of 2020. He can go wherever he wants. And then we have another slot who's JoJo Hawkins, and he could go wherever he wants, and he's in 2019. And we've got an O-line that's doing great for themselves. You know, there's a lot of guys that are playing both ways, a lot of guys that have stuck to the position. And I think with our offense, you know, we're going to outscore a lot of people. And I think if we come away with less than 21 points a game or less than 28 points a game, we are unsatisfied. I mean, we've got the firepower to do it all. And of course, going against the Boscos and the Mater Days of the world, I don't care who it is. We're going to go out there and compete. I know we were tied with Bosco with 5 minutes left last year. It was 21-21, and they scored on a big bomb, and then they scored on a one-play touchdown run, and then it ended up being 40-21. So we're right there. We just got to get over that hump, and I think we've got the guys to do it this year. We had the guys to do it last year, but there was just something that wasn't clicking right. So we tapped in this offseason, and we're excited, you know, get out there and just prove, you know, that we could be one of the best, because Orange Lutheran has such great history. I mean, they came from the second closest division to 8-man football. And my coach now, Coach Crawford, brought it all the way up to the Olympic League, which wasn't a great league back then. And they were in Division 6, and they played Mater Dei in Division 1, and they beat Mater Dei when Matt Barkley was there. And so we're trying to bring that, you know, that standard back to Orange Lutheran. And we want to do that, of course, my senior year, because I don't want to walk away from a high school, you know, not winning a championship for sure. And I think all the guys around me want to do the same.
I mean, from what I've seen I've only mainly seen your highlights along with Kyle Ford's, and Kyle Ford is just absolutely filthy guy. I wish he was a guy we could get at South Carolina. But
I'm trying.
But I hope you guys, you know, best of luck this year. Hope you guys can go all the way. But let's go back to your recruiting process and just talk about how originally you got attracted to South Carolina as a school, and what makes you so passionate about recruiting for the Gamecocks with other people in your class.
Yeah, I think a year ago today, just like the recruiting process, my only 2 offers was Boston College and Montana State. And, you know, I was like, okay, I'm going to go to Boston College or Montana State. And then I was like, okay, I think I can, you know, grind a little bit harder than I was doing. And then week 3, Coach Champ calls me, and he's like, hey, Ryan, I want you to be a part of this football team. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, South Carolina, like, okay, cool. And then the next week I get a text from him. He's like, hey, call me. So then I sit on the phone with him for an hour, and we just talk life. And when you could talk life with the head football coach of a Southeastern Conference team, especially like a guy I've coached Muschamp, you just want to play for him. And they've been the same with me throughout this whole recruiting process from week 3 of my season to now. I mean, Coach Muschamp still sends myself and my parents texts in a group chat, and it's pretty amazing, you know, when you could see a coach that devoted in your commitment, that devoted in your life, that devoted in your recruitment process, that you just want to do the same for him. And not only am I helping him out with the recruiting process, I'm helping myself out. I want the Kevion Mullins on my wide receiver side. I want him, if he's playing defense, I want him playing defense. You know, I want Zacchaeus Pickens, because I'm going to need a defense sometimes if I'm not having a day where I need a DN that's going to strap up and go make a tackle where I can lead this team down to a scoring drive. And that's just going to help me. That's going to help Coach Muschamp. That's going to help Coach T-Rob. It's going to help Coach McClendon. It's just going to make their jobs a lot easier, and my job's a lot easier. And when you see the fans, you know, that have been so hungry for a while now, and so many good people that have already donated to Hilinski's Hope, and I've done so many good things for myself and my family, you just want to give everything you can back to them, and just make sure we're on the same page and they're happy, as well as myself and my family.
Well, just dude, like, that's the best answer I think I could have ever gotten out of that. But the way the recruiting class is shaping up now, especially if a guy like Travon Walker ends up committing soon, that's going to be the best defensive line that I think I've ever seen come through South Carolina.
It's going to be good.
Those guys,
yeah. You're not running against us.
No, you're not running or pass. You're not doing anything against us on defense. Anyway, let's I'd love the answer. Let's get to the next topic. We're just gonna talk about, you know, we're gonna hit on your brother, isn't it? Tyler Hilinski. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Sir, Tyler Hilinski.
Tyler was a quarterback at Washington State.
Yes,
ended up tragically dying. How does his death motivate you on and off the field?
I think the thing is, when Tyler and I were young, he always wanted me to go to the NFL, and that was my dream. And it still is my dream. And I think now it's gotten more realistic. And I never believed it. He was my older brother, and he was actually way better than me when I was in 8th grade. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to make it. He can make it, but I will make it. And Tyler always told me, keep working, keep working. And I remember I saw a text that he sent to my dad the other day, a while back. And he's like, Dad, Ryan's going to be the best quarterback or one of the best quarterbacks in his class. Like, trust me. And that was my freshman year when he sent that text. And I couldn't see it, man. I didn't think I was that good. And then, of course, it comes this year, and I throw for almost 4,000 yards and how many touchdowns, and you can count the scholarships. And I'm committed to one of the best universities in the country. And it's just seeing that trust, seeing that hope in your brother's eyes, because if he can see it, if he can trust me, and he knows what I'm capable of, then I can do anything I can, man. If I'm happy and I'm making him happy and my parents happy and Kelly happy, no one's going to stop me, because it's just what I love doing. I have a passion for it. He had a passion for it, and he just wanted me to do this. And I think when I can make him happy, and I know he's smiling down on me while I'm talking to you on this phone,
yes, sir.
It's great, because he's just going to be there with me my whole life. And when I'm making him happy, I'm going to go throw for 500 touchdowns and make his smile even bigger. So that's one of the big things when it comes to using Tyler as a motivational piece.
Man, you guys, I know it has to, hurt you knowing that he can't watch you play, but knowing that he's looking down on you, just knowing that he's proud of what I mean, I would have to say he's proud of you, because, seeing what you've seen done on Twitter and just, through community service and stuff you've done throughout your, just going in. I think did you visit a kid in the hospital? I might be wrong about that.
Yeah, I actually visit children in the hospital weekly. I go every weekend, and I started off with just me, and then I started taking Orange Lutheran players with me. And now we're up to 10 kids and myself going every Sunday and talking to kids, that have leukemia, that have stage 4 cancer, and they won't see, a couple more weeks. So we just try and be that light in somebody's life, because you never know what somebody's going through. And I learned that from Tyler's experience.
I think something that shows me is that how mature you guys are, and how much, your character off the field matters so much. It's not just on the field and how you play, because there are quarterbacks who've come through South Carolina, or players that have come through South Carolina and multiple other schools, who don't act right and don't do the things off the field that they should be doing. But that's not you guys, and that's not you. Yeah. And I can see that, and that gives me a lot of hope for where this program's going. But
and that's the biggest thing, I think, when college student athletes and they want to play football, is they think that football is going to cover them, for the rest of their lives. You're not going to make a ton of money. I mean, the average year I learned at the Elite 11 was 3.5 years in the league. That's going to, if you're one of the best, you're going to make a little bit. But what are you going to do for the rest of your life? You're 26, 29, whatever you want to say, when you get into the league, and then you go 3 more years and you got 40 more years of your life to live. And that's the biggest thing is when I stepped back and I looked at that, I'm like, okay, I've got to focus on off the field stuff. And a lot of people don't look at that. And that's what we're just trying to teach and install in the kids here at Orange Lutheran. And I think our coaches are doing a pretty good job of that, for sure.
Well, and and with Coach Muschamp, I could be awful about this, but I think I'm pretty on that he wants you to succeed on the field, but getting a degree and getting through college matters more to him.
It's huge.
Than winning on Saturdays.
And that was a big decision. I mean, he sent me a picture the other day of South Carolina being 3rd in graduation rate. I mean, we're 98% in the country, 3rd behind, I want to say, Brown University in graduation rate.
I think it's like Brown and Stanford. I'm pretty sure, something like
that. and I, to be honest with you, I would have never thought. And Coach sent me the average GPA of college athletes on his football team, and I'm like, oh my gosh, he's all about it. So I think that's the biggest thing when I made my decision as well. Is Coach Champ, of course, he wants to win football games, but it's just setting you for life after football.
Coach Muschamp and his staff are just great people in my opinion. But anyway. Let's move on to probably my favorite topic, the Elite 11. You obviously were an Elite 11 finalist with Trent Dilfer. I'm pretty sure it's the guy's name.
Yes, sir.
Former NFL quarterback. I don't know what they were seeing with putting you at third, or whoever ranked you at third. I don't know what they were seeing there. From your stats and from the highlights I saw, you guys should have been first. But just talk about your Elite 11 experience and the tournament. You did 7-on-7 tournaments, right? And that was
yes,
like,
sir. Yep.
Okay, talk about that. And just, I know you were, I have your stats pulled up. You were a camp best 76% of hitting your passes, 85 of 112. You threw 13 touchdowns and 2 interceptions, but the knock against you was that you weren't fundamentally as sound as other players. And to me, that sounds like what they said about Tom Brady. Not saying you're going to be Tom Brady, but
no, I get it.
Who cares? Okay, my thing is, and I could be off about quarterbacks here, but who cares about your fundamentals as long as you're hitting?
As long as you get the ball there and you let the athletes do what they do. I mean, look at Phillip Rivers doing what he does, but I'm not going to rant about it. I'm just going to show him on the field, and that's not a big deal to me. But I know the Elite 11 experience. It was amazing. I mean, it started back about I want to say 3 months ago, and I was the first Elite 11 invite to the regionals, and I won MVP. Spencer Rattler was at that camp. Bryce Young was at that camp. DJ Ugalele was at that camp, and I was the first invite. I was the only invite of that camp, and I was the MVP of that camp. And then we went to Redondo. And I competed against my butt off against these guys. And to be honest with you, I never thought I would have gone to the Elite 11. That was a dream of mine. It was a dream of Tyler's. And so I felt like, okay, I'm going to complete my dream, but I'm going to complete a part of Tyler's dream too. So that was a big motivator going into the event. And it was amazing. I mean, we learned a lot of off-the-field stuff. Of course, there's your football portion of it where you learn the ins and the outs and the coverages and stuff like that. But there was a lot of stuff off the field. And I remember there was a portion where our parents sent us letters and we read them out loud, and it just makes you experience and realize life was just amazing. And that was just the regional. That was in Redondo with the top 24 guys. And so they picked 12 out of that to go to the opening finals, which is the Elite 11 finals. And I remember going into it, I'm like, okay, this is it. This is the best of the best. And so I got to prove myself. And I remember the first day of 7-on-7, I was so nervous, but after the first day of 7-on-7, I went 28 of 33, 10 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, I don't know what else I can do. And there's a lot of adversity when it came to the event, for sure. I remember the next day after I listed those stats, the next day, the final portion of the 7-on-7, the coaches didn't play me. I don't know what happened, but the coaches decided not to play me. So I actually stood on the sideline with those stats, and I didn't know what to make of it. But sometimes that's just what's going to happen in life, and you got to react. And some people don't want you to do certain things, and that's just the way it goes. But the Elite 11 experience was great overall. You can't complain because a lot of it's off the field, and you guys will see the documentaries when they come out. I was just filming actually a couple days ago here at the house for a short portion of it, and it's just an amazing experience. I mean, it just proves that you can be with the best, but as long as you're good and you meet these guys with a happy face and you're not a dick to them, it's going to be a fun experience for sure.
I mean, just from the highlights I saw, you were killing it. I don't understand the coach's decision not to play you the final couple drives of the day. That doesn't make any sense to me, but you obviously made an impression on some people. You were invited to the Army All-American game. You accepted that invitation, I'm pretty sure. So talk about why the Army All-American game. Why'd you pick that one?
Yeah, I'm sure you probably saw that tweet too, where it's, Ryan and Tyler are finishing or Ryan's going to finish Tyler's dream for him. And
I saw that.
Tyler was one of those kids, that when he grew up, he only had an offer from Washington State, and then Cal came on late. And he was one of those kids that worked his butt off. And he went to a Upland High School, which is a pretty good high school out here, but it's not nationally recognized. And a lot of coaches didn't like him because he was skinny. He couldn't get the ball there, but his stats were just crazy. I remember he threw for 4,000 yards one year. He threw for 3,700 the next year, and people didn't really like him. He wasn't even invited to an all-star game, but he was always one of those kids that, he wanted to go to the Under Armour game. He wanted to go to the Army game, and I think he tried out for the Army All-American game at the Texas Aladome Stadium. And I went with him that week, and they didn't invite him. They didn't even talk to him. And I remember how devastated he was. And I just kept working. Okay, I'm going to finish this for us both, Ty. And so I got invited the other day, and I remember getting the call and the text and people just congratulating me. And it just remembered me and just reminded me of, finishing Tyler's dream for him and just lifting that burden of devastation off of his shoulders so he didn't have to be sad anymore about not making it. And it's just a pretty cool dream, when you could finish it for yourself and for your brother.
That's great. I hope you kill it at the Army All-American game. There was a certain quarterback who went to Clemson last year, not going to name any names, played like some hot trash again in the Army All-American game. Hopefully that's showing how he's going to play in the future just for us Carolina fans' sake. But
you'll like what I do in that game. Just make sure you tune in on January 5th on NBC.
I hope so. Hope you kill it, dude. So Army All-American games January 5th. Are you planning on early enrolling in South Carolina?
Yes, I will be enrolling early. Yes,
okay,
sir.
I didn't know if that was like a public thing or not.
No, yeah, I'm doing it early. Yes, sir.
So let's go. I guess this is more of a lighter topic. Just Chris's question, Chris Phillips, the other co-host. What current NFL quarterback do you compare yourself to, and what are the biggest things you need to work on as you move into your senior year of high school?
That's a good question. I've been asked this a couple times, and I've never given a definitive answer on a specific type of quarterback. When I look at my game, I go to all different types of quarterback coaches, and I get tidbits from each and every one of them, and I tie them together to do one of their master, guru sessions, and I teach myself basically. But when I look at quarterbacks, I want to take a piece from some of the best. I want to take Tom Brady's will to win. I want to take his will to win. I want to take Ben Roethlisberger's ability to take a hit. I want to take Matt Ryan's ability to to throw balls into holes and just making sure, they get into those tight windows. I want to take Drew Brees' ability to overcome adversity, because he's one of the smallest quarterbacks in the game, but he could throw it just as good as Tom Brady. I when I look at it, I don't want to be a specific type of quarterback. I want to have each and every one of their attributes because they're there for a reason, but they all have their own specific reasons. And I feel like when I put all of those together, it's going to be pretty cool. So that would be my answer on that. But going into senior season, a lot of people, don't think I can move as well, and it didn't show on my tape. And when you're dropping in the pocket and you're throwing for 3,700 yards, you don't really need to show a lot of running stuff. But when I look at it, I think I have to be a little bit more of that two-dimensional player, where I can throw it down the field, a big post, and I could go and run for a first down if we need it. And I think that's the biggest thing. But if you're going to run in the SEC, you're going to get your head taken off a couple of times. And we saw that in the national championship. And I think that's the biggest thing when I talk to Coach Werner is he wants me to be a guy that can sit in the pocket. But if I need to get 4, I'm going to go get 4 for you. And I think that's the biggest thing I want to improve on this year.
Yeah, I agree. I think the sneaky athlete attribute will be, a good thing. You
exactly.
kind of with Jake and how he can, even if it breaks down, he can get outrun. He's not like Tom Brady. He looks like a antelope out there just trotting along. But I would think my comparison would probably have to be, and I would say Carson Wentz would be one I would think is close to you in terms of can just throw the absolute piss out of the ball, but can also get out the pocket. And
I like that. Yeah, I like that one.
But anyway, I just have one final question for you, and this is just completely random. Where did you get the nickname Big Bo from? Because I either haven't heard that story or just like missed that day or something.
No, yeah, it's actually a family thing. So it started with my dad, and we call my dad Big. We were raised that way because he's just a very large human being standing at 6'5", 300 pounds, and he's just massive. And you couldn't tell he's 300 pounds because he's pretty cool. But we started calling him Big, and then it moved down to my oldest brother Kelly, and we called him Big Kel. And then we called Tyler Big T, and then we moved down to me, and we called me Big Bo. And then we couldn't call my mom and Big Mama because that would just be bad, so we just call her Mama. But yeah, that's how it trickled down the tree, and that's how I became Big Bo.
All right. Well, thank you, man. Thank you for coming on. You got any words for Gamecock fans?
Just get ready. In a couple of years, actually this year, I know Coach Champ is going to do some great things, but when 2019 class gets there, South Carolina program is going to be fun to watch. So make sure you get your tickets now.
Absolutely. Can't wait for Ryan to be, eventually I would think the QB1, something crazy have to happen. If not, thanks for coming on the show, Ryan. Hope you have a good one, man.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir.
All right. That's it for the Spurs Up Show, guys. We'll see you next week.